Okay, check, check. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, last week we learned two things about the Norman Saxon merger. First thing, how each of these languages changes words, how they take one word and give it an alternate meaning. Norman grammar added a sound at the end to modify the meaning. Saxon grammar changed the vowel inside the word and then also sometimes added sounds at the end. So Norman, suffix change, Saxon, vowel change, and sometimes suffix change. Second thing we learned is how each of these languages show who does the action and who receives it. Saxon used different words, so the order could move around and it would still make sense. Norman used the same word, so it relied on strict position in the sentence to show the meaning. Today, we're going to take that Norman strict word order and turn it into a grid and practice using that grid to show basic grammar. Before we start, any follow-up questions from last week?
Yeah, we have a question. Is Yoda using the free order system you said Saxon had?
Uh, no, no, that's it wouldn't be free order. It is specifically object, subject, verb. Yeah. So that is different from English, but it's not open-ended. You can't place the slots anywhere you want to. For example, if Yoda did much to learn, still have you, that would be a mistake. Yoda always has the verb coming last. So it has to be much to learn, you still have.
Excuse me, teacher. I have no record of the Yoda language. Is this language related to Yiddish?
Oh, Robert, Yoda isn't a language. Yoda is a fictional character who speaks English with a word order that is scrambled for stylistic effect. So no, not Yiddish, not Saxon. It's not even real grammar. It is a made-up system for the movie. It's deliberately an unusual pattern so that he sounds ancient and wise. Uh, Sometimes bad grammar is used on purpose for art or for emotion. Uh, Another one I can think of is Into the Valley of Death rode the 600. Well, rode is the verb, and the 600 is the noun. So it should be Into the Valley of Death, the 600 rode. But the subject verb word order is broken on purpose for artistic emphasis. It's the same for sentences like blessed are the meek versus the meek are blessed. For today, we're not going to cover any artistic use of grammar. We're just going to stick to the normal basic grammar and the normal word order. So let me show you. I'll pull up a whiteboard like this. In our standard sentence, we have three slots. What gives the action, what does the action, and what takes the action. These three slots can be overlaid with a grid that looks like this. Our second basic pattern will be here. For three slots, we will have what gives the action, what takes the action, but sometimes an action isn't done to something else. You just have the thing doing the action, and the thing taking the action is just not there. It's gone. So in that case, the overlay will look like this. We would use only two slots and leave off that third slot. Let's do, yeah, let's try an example. So we have dogs play cards. First, we mark each word for its job. The thing that does the action is dogs, so underline it. That is our subject. The action is play, so we put a circle around it. That's the verb. And the thing receiving the action is cards, so underline it. That's our object. This is why we have strict word order. It cannot be cards play dogs. From the Norman language, they use the same word for both subject and object. So the only way to tell them apart is where they go in the sentence, whether they go in the first slot or the third slot. As a grid, come to here. Let's drop these into our 3-slot diagram. Dogs go in the first slot because it's the subject, the doer. Play goes in the second slot because it's the action. And cards go in the third slot because that is the thing being acted on. Okay, that is it. Subject, verb, object. English locks these in this order. Slot 1, slot 2, slot 3. We'll do another example here. Okay, let's do they walk. Step 1, find the thing that is doing the action. That is they, so I underline it. That's the subject. Step 2, find the action. That is walk, so I put a circle around it. And step 3, check if anything receives the action. In this sentence, nothing takes the action. They're just walking, so there is no object. We'll do this as a grid. Subject in slot 1, verb in slot 2. Slot 3 stays empty because walk doesn't take an object here. Nice and clean. Now that you've seen it once, let's have someone try the next one. Let's come up to this. Doug, can you do the markdown for they eat lunch?
Okay, I can do this. I mean, it's basically the same as the last one, right? Just with food. First thing, who's doing the action? That's the word, they. So I underline it. Easy. Next is the action. That's eat. So I put a circle around it. And then, the thing getting eaten is lunch. So that gets an underline. That's the object. So far, so good. This one's not scary.
Yeah, not scary at all. This is all very straightforward. Let's try this as a grid. Okay, Doug, can you mark this down as a grid?
Well, I think I need the grid that has 3 slots, so let me draw that. First slot has the word, they. Second slot has the word, eat. And third slot has the word, lunch. That wasn't too hard.
Yeah, great work. Not hard at all. You got it exactly right. We'll move on to the next one. Here, he screams. Robert, it's your turn. I want you to do the markdown for he screams.
Affirmative. This sentence is computationally trivial. He performs the action. Therefore, I underline it once. Subject identified. Screams is the action. Therefore, I place a circle around it. Verb identified. End computation.
Okay, exactly right. No mistakes. Okay. Can you do it as a grid next?
Step 1. Determine the grid type. The verb is screams. It does not require an object. Therefore, the correct structure is the 2-slot grid. Step 2. Lexical marking. Subject in slot 1, verb in slot 2. Operation complete.
Again, completely correct. I loved your explanation. You got it exactly right. So next thing we're going to do, let's come to here. Next thing I want to show you is mood. There are 18 of these words, but don't panic. They're grouped in a way that makes them easy to remember. First, we have these 9. Okay, the first 4 come in pairs, and the last one stands alone. Then we just take the same 9 and we add the word not to make the opposite, like this. So really, it's 9 and 9, not a random 18 items. And even then, it's actually 5 instead of 9 when you consider the pairs.
Teacher, quick thing. We're pretty sure the groups are different in the books. Like, we remember shall, should being together, and must kind of doing its own thing. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything. It just looks different from the charts we've seen.
Okay, that's a good question, Alan. You're right that the charts in a lot of textbooks look different. But those charts are organized by pronunciation, not by grammar. They're still showing the album pairs, the vowel shift families. A, can, could. Will, would. I, may, might. For this reason, I'm going to group them. I'm grouping them by how we use them in sentences, not how they sound. Next week, we'll start the unit on modals and we'll go into this in detail. For today, all I really need you to hold on to is that there's 9 mood words and the same 9 with the word not. Another thing, the second group of 9 is 2 words, but for the grid, we treat them as one lemma, as one idea. There's also count words. There's about 25 or 30 of them, but for today, I only want you to know these here. Now, the important thing about both mood and counting is there can only ever be one for each place. So let's move to the markdown and I can show you. Hey, here's our sentence. The water will hit the boat. First, find the doer of the action. That's water. That is our subject. Underline it. Next is the action. Action is hit. That's our verb. So we'll circle it. And what gets hit? The boat. That's the object. Here. Underline that. Now we have the 3 basic slots. We mark mood and count. Mood is here. Count is here and here. Now let me show you how to do that as a grid. The 3 slots are water, hit, boat. Okay, here I want to stop for a second and showcase you something important. If we only do the slots and get rid of everything else, you should still understand the meaning. This is a very handy check to see if the 3 slots are correct. Water, hit, boat. Yeah, that makes sense. That's an understandable idea. So now add in the mood words and counts at the edges of the grid lines. Mood here, here for count and count. Those are counting words. Put them at the edge. And then mood will go here. Yeah. So this sentence, the bullets won't hit him. Alan, you try this one.
Well, the main 3 slots are bullets, hit, and him. So that's underline, circle, underline. For the mood, that's the word won't. It's really just will not in disguise. So we drop a tick mark above it. And the counting word is just the. So that gets another tick mark.
Okay, good. Exactly right. Now I want you to do it as a diagram. Okay?
Okay, we know it's a 3-slot grid, so let's draw that. Fill in the subject, verb, object in the 3 slots. Then the mood goes at the edge of the line, and the count goes at the end of the edge of the other line. Yeah, this is nice. We see how this helps organize our thinking.
Okay, just as a reminder, we can check the main 3 slots without anything else to see if it still makes sense. Bullets hit him. That's something I understand, so this is fine. We'll go on to this one. Yay, we can do it. Poppy, want you to do the markdown for this one.
Oh, this is easy. I remember the list showed that can is one of the mood words. So it's just the 3 slots like this. And one mood word like this. There are
Great.
no counting words.
Yeah, great. Exactly right. We'll switch over to the grid. Okay, can you do this as a grid?
Well, it's a 3-slot grid, so I draw this. I fill in the 3 slots like this. And the mood word goes on the edge of the up and down line here.
Okay, and just for our check, we do it. That's still an idea, so it checks out. Go on to here. Last thing I want to show you, information words. They tell us more things about something, or it makes it more specific. There are thousands of these. So the list here I show you, it's not complete, but it gives you a general idea of how to use them in Markdown. These are words that describe other words or give more information about that word. First column, we can describe more things about nouns. Middle, we can describe more things about actions. And the third, we can also have information describe other information. So we can chain link them together. Yeah, any one of the three is valid. Let's go to here. Okay, in this example, the lonely boy always watches twin sunsets. Main 3 slots. Boy watches sunset. There's one counting word, so let's put a tick mark on it. Lonely tells us information about the boy. So to show this, we'll use an arrow. Okay? The arrow starts with the extra information, and it goes to where the information is describing. So we have a boy. What kind of boy? A lonely boy. So lonely gives information about boy. What kind of watch? Always watch. Always gives more information about watch. What sunset? Twin sunset. Twins gives more information about sunset. That's showing the markdown. For markdown, we use arrows. For the grid, okay, grid, main 3 slots. This is a 3-slot grid. We'll use that. Words are boy watches sunset. The is a counting word, so it goes at the edge of the line. Then, to show information words, we put these under what they describe, and we put them on a diagonal line. So here, here, and here. What boy? Lonely boy. What watches? Always watches. What sunset? Twin sunset.
Teacher, I have a question. Why doesn't the go with the other info words? Like, if I am asking what kind of boy, I could answer the boy. Aren't lonely and the both describing something?
The doesn't get grouped with the other info words because there can only ever be one. It's fine to stack up lots and lots of info words, like the handsome, lonely, tired young boy. But we can't do the and this my boy. The place under the slot has room enough. Here, yeah, the place underneath the slot that has very wide space, and we can put as in much as we want to. But the edge of the line, that only has one place. Okay? Here. Okay? That's the difference between the two. Got it? Okay. The young girl shouldn't start house fires. Noah, it's your turn. Yeah, great. Exactly right. What girl? Young girl. What fires? House fires. Now do that as a grid. Let me pull this up for you. Okay, Noah, can you do this as a grid? Yeah, exactly right. Let's do our check, remove everything else, and only have the 3 slots. Girl starts fires. Yeah, that is an idea. That makes sense. So we understand that the 3 slots that we picked are correct. Let's come to this one now. Okay. So, Doug, I want you to try this one.
Okay, I got this. Big sentence, lots of parts, let's go. Woman. That's the one doing. Wears. The action. Hat. The thing she wears. I can stop here to check my work. Woman wears hat. Yeah, that's a full idea. Next, the counting words. The. A. There are no mood words. The information words are very, beautiful, and pink. Easy.
Okay, be careful here. Let's just check. Let's do the arrow on the far right. Pink. What kind of hat?
Pink hat.
Okay. Top arrow. What woman?
Beautiful woman.
Okay. And the bottom arrow. What woman?
Very woman. Wait. No, very woman is wrong. Very is information about beautiful. Let me fix that. Here. Then here. That's better.
Yeah. Nice catch there. Information words can describe or give more information about other info words. Let's come to this. Okay, how would you do this as a grid?
So I know it is the 3-slot grid. So here, and here. Then the counting words. Beautiful is information about woman. And well, very is information about beautiful, so it would go under. I guess like this. And then pink is information about hat.
Yeah, you did it exactly right. Remember, all information words go on that diagonal. Very is information about beautiful, so we just place it underneath, but we still have to have that diagonal line. Let's come to the next one. Okay, Robert, I want you to try this one.
Beginning analysis from lowest priority lexical items. Information words detected. Wonderfully. Today. Michael. 2 items remain. 1 must be the subject. 1 must be the verb. Jackson danced. Sentence integrity confirmed. All components accounted for.
Excuse me, teacher, but I don't understand. Whenever I talk about someone, I always use the given name. I say Michael, and if anyone asks me Michael who, then I say Michael Jackson. So Jackson is the information word, and the main noun is Michael.
Okay, Doug, we get what you're saying, but that doesn't really hold up. There are tons of Jacksons. LaToya, Tito, Janet, the whole dynasty. So Jackson can't be the extra part. We agree with Robert. Jackson is the main verb, and Michael gives more information.
Well, I don't think it's either way. Michael Jackson is just one idea, one name, one lemma. Teacher did say that a lemma can be many words, so I would just put both words in the slot, and then there is no info word.
Okay, let's all slow down for a moment. Remember, I'm not teaching you rules. This grid system is only a way to help you organize your thoughts. This is a tool, not a rule. So whatever way helps you understand the sentence, that's the correct way. If Robert says that Jackson is a noun, then Jackson is a noun. Robert, back to you. Let's do the diagram. How would you do the diagram?
I believe that Jackson is the main verb, therefore I diagram the sentence like this.
Okay, exactly right. The important thing here is the information words. The information words go under the noun that they describe or the verb that they describe and goes on a diagonal line. So next up, we'll have here Alan. Alan, can you do the markdown for this one?
All right, this one's clean. The core is just he and runs. And the info words are, wow. I think every info word is all about runs. All three. Here, here, here.
Okay, exactly right. Can do this as a diagram now. How would you diagram this?
I think I'm going to need a lot of space. Start off with just, he runs. And now all three modify the verb. So 3 lines like this.
Yeah, exactly right. This is what I said before about you can stack up many modifiers or many information words. You just extend the line as long as you need, to. You can stack in as many as you want. The counting words, they go at the end. You can't make that space bigger, so there's only ever one for the counting words. Let's go on to the next one. Poppy. Poppy, can you do the mark down here?
Like the mood word is should not. The core sentence is boyfriend look. What boyfriend? Her boyfriend. What look? Look back.
Yeah, exactly right. Let's do this here. How would you do this as a diagram?
I think it's just like this. Start with the mood at top, then the main slots under it, and last the info words at the bottom.
Yeah, that's it. You got it exactly right. Good job. We'll do one more here. Noah, it's your turn. How would you do the markdown for this? What? Uh, okay, you can start over. No. Okay, don't get frustrated. Just think it through. Yeah. Okay, that's the idea. Great doesn't describe white. White doesn't describe great. Great white is one thing together. It is one lemma. So let's do this as a diagram. Noah, how would you make this as a diagram? Yeah, exactly right. Great and white are two words, but they're one lemma. So on that slot for describing what kind of shark, it is a great white shark. Great white is one idea. So let's come to here. That's where we stop for today. We've covered every basic piece of a sentence diagram, the core slots, the control words, and the info words. Before we finish, there's one last note that I want to make. Some of the categories we're using, like determiners and modals, those don't appear in older grammar textbooks. That's because older systems tried to force English into categories that didn't really fit. For example, determiners used to be filed under adjectives, even though determiners and adjectives, they don't behave anything alike. Uh, Modals were treated as verbs, even though they don't act like verbs. Traditional grammar handled this by calling them exceptions to the rules. I am not going to do that. If something is placed into a group, but it doesn't behave like the other members of the group, The problem isn't that it's an exception to the rule. The problem is that we put it in the wrong group. So next lesson, we're going to talk about modals. We're going to see why modals are not verbs with weird exceptions. Modals are their own operator class, so they should never be grouped with verbs in the first place. That is all for today. Bye-bye, everyone.
Ending
Bye.
transmission.
Stay
Goodbye.
amazing.
Bye.
All right.